Over the last decade, I have modified a lot of campers, from my very first travel trailer 10 years ago to my current Brinkley Model Z fifth wheel. And there's always a long list of upgrades to tackle, from power upgrades to water filtration, and the list goes on. But there's always one modification that I insist on making before I load even the first camping chair. I'm talking about the most important seat. It may be in the smallest room in the RV, but the throne must always be fit for the king of the campground. And let's be honest, sometimes that's the only place we can get 5 to 10 minutes of peace and quiet. So we might as well be comfortable, right? Well, folks, today I am presenting the ultimate RV bidet install. It's simple, it's clean, and best of all, it leaves absolutely no trace behind, literally. Now, here's what we're working with: the Brondell SS-250, also known as the SS-250. It's incredibly thin, non-electric, and it blends right in. Now, you'll notice right out of the gate, I'm only using one water line, and it's blue, so where's the hot water, right? Well, in my last 3 rigs, I installed a hot and cold thermostatic valve feeding the bidet. So why am I going cold water only in the Brinkley here? Well, it comes down to the tankless water heater. As you know, tankless water heaters have become the new standard in modern RVs, and they require a specific sustained minimum flow rate just to ignite. The flow rate of a bidet is, well, it's soft and gentle. It's nowhere near enough to trigger that hot water. To get hot water right here, we would need the flow rate equivalent to a pressure washer. And quite frankly, I value my internal organs. So cold water it is. It's crisp, it's refreshing, and it wakes you up faster than your morning coffee. Well, let's just get to the install. Now, before we start cutting into PEX lines, we need to make sure this Brinkley is perfectly stable. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, RV SnapPad. When you only have a few days to escape into the RV life, into the great outdoors, every minute counts, especially spending time with your family. And the last thing that you want to do is waste time with those clumsy leveling blocks, or worse, drive off from your campsite and leave them behind. For me personally, I like things to be once and done, and that's why the ultimate RV accessory on my rig is RV SnapPad. These are permanent forever pads made from heavy-duty recycled tires, and they snap directly onto your factory landing feet. They never come off. I've been running these for 5 years on different rigs. They are extremely durable. They protect your jacks from rust, and they keep you compliant at RV parks that require foot pads. It essentially gives you one less thing to worry about during setup. So stop crawling under your rig. It's time to set it and forget it. Click the link in the description or pinned comment below, grab my exclusive affiliate discount code, and upgrade your setup today. Big thanks to RV SnapPad for supporting the channel, and now back to the install details. Okay, so the first thing I did was shut off the RV water supply. A lot of RV brands are putting shutoffs at the toilet, and that's fine too, but I went ahead and shut off the main RV water supply. And then I drained the water in the toilet so that all that water is evacuated and gone. Then before I removed the water connection, the threaded connection on the back of the toilet, the supply line, I measured the exact height from the floor to the center of that inlet to the toilet, because I'm going to be modifying that supply, and I want to make sure when I'm all done that the height remains the same so I can hook it back up to the toilet. Then to remove the toilet, there are 2 trim caps on either side covering the nuts. I just loosened and removed those nuts, and then the entire toilet lifts right off. Now, removing all that gives me a lot better access to the PEX supply line that I'm going to be modifying. And by the way, guys, sorry for the late notice on this, but if you didn't already empty your black tank and flush it out beforehand, definitely do that. In my case, the RV was brand new. It had never been used before. So if that's not the case for you, definitely flush things out. Otherwise, you're going to have quite the stench while doing this job. But basically, once I got all that removed, the first thing I did was to strip the existing PEX line all the way down to the shutoff valve. And so all the fittings north of the shutoff valve I had to remove. Now, to do that, technically you should use the official PEX clip ring removers. I opted for the highly specialized, industry-approved method of just manhandling it until it's submitted to my will. Just be incredibly careful not to nick the ribs on the downstream fitting on the shutoff valve. If you score that plastic there, it's essentially just going to create a future leak point. Next, I began building and dry fitting the new layout using a 1/2-inch PEX T and a second shutoff for the bidet. The bidet supply hose, it's just a standard 3/8-inch connection, and so basically just a vanity faucet shutoff is needed there. I did a right angle option just to have the supply hose feeding the bidet, just to have it make a nice S. But depending on your setup, a straight connection might work too. And again, measurements are really important, and so when I was assembling all this, I had to make sure that the height of the toilet supply connection was exactly the same height. I did have some flex side to side on that main PEX supply, so I could bend it ever so slightly, to align vertically with the toilet supply, but it has to be spot on with the height. I did a quick dry fit on everything before I put my crip rings on, just to make sure that there was enough clearance and that the alignment and everything was right. So once all that was confirmed, then I just put all new crimp rings, 6 of them, in all the locations and used the PEX crimping tool to crimp them nice and tight. After checking all my connections, I then reinstalled the toilet, tightened up the water supply to it, and reinstalled the 2 nuts on either side that attach it to the flange. And then next was installing the actual bidet seat, and it basically gets sandwiched between your toilet seat and the toilet bowl. And so it has these nice mounting points with rotating circles and slots, so you can basically align it for really pretty much any toilet, any brand, any style, and you just want it to be symmetrical side to side and get it to line up with your existing holes. Now, after I got everything aligned, when I went to actually mount the original toilet seat on top of the bidet seat, the factory bolts on mine, they went up from underneath up into the toilet seat. The factory bolts, they were just a little bit too short to accommodate, the thickness of the new bidet seat. And as you guys know, it is physically impossible to complete an RV modification with at least one mandatory mid-project trip to the hardware store. It is the law of physics. And so next morning went to the hardware store, back in business, got the seat mounted, and then I connected the bidet water supply line. Again, it's just a 3/8-inch connection. It does have a gasket inside, so you don't have to tape it or seal it up. Just snug it up real good on both ends. And that is it. That is how simple the install is. I just turned back the water after that, tested it, checked for leaks, didn't have any, so everything was good there. Now for the curious and the brave, if you've never seen the jets up close, I got some footage before I gave it a test drive. And so what you're looking at are close-ups of the 2 jets. It's basically a twin turbo setup, but for cleaning. And so the water pressure drops the targeted jet down, and then when the pressure cuts off, an internal spring snaps it back behind the protective gate. As you can see, it's highly engineered and highly effective. So those are the install details on the bidet. Next, I want to answer some of the common questions I've gotten on bidets and RVs over the last decade. The first one is for boondockers. Of course, when you're boondocking, the concern is conserving your water, right? And so the question is, are you wasting water with yet another appliance on your RV, the bidet? And I really think if you do the math, you're actually saving water, because the bidet is just a very light targeted stream, maybe 10 seconds, 15 if you do the premium polish. Compare that to, flushing a mountain of toilet paper down the sewer pipe, where you're probably wasting a lot of water. So I really think with a bidet, you're conserving water in the end, and more importantly, there's more liquids going down the pipe and less solids. And that brings me to the next question: is a bidet bad for your black tank? And of course, if you've been RVing for more than a month, you know that toilet paper is the mortal enemy of your black tank. It jams the sensors and it just makes a mess of the black tank. So by using a bidet, you're actually using less toilet paper, less chance of clogs, less chance of things gunking up the sensors. And of course, you don't have to worry about a dreaded pyramid poop, right? So I really think using a bidet is actually advantageous in terms of keeping up the health of your black tank. There's ultimately going to be, like I said, more liquids going down in less solids. Third question is, what about winterization? And folks, if you have a bidet in your RV, you absolutely cannot forget about it when you winterize each year. And so whether you're blowing out your lines with air or pumping antifreeze through your lines, you absolutely need to pump it through the bidet, just like you do with your toilet supply line. If you don't, it will freeze, and then the next year you're gonna have a nice surprise when you pressurize your RV for the first time. So don't forget about flushing out the bidet when you winterize. All right, last question, is it hard to clean? Does the unit itself get gross over time, right? And as you saw in the macro close-up footage, when you turn the valve off, the jets automatically retract up into the housing. And so they're protected behind a plastic guard. So they're out of the drop zone. In fact, when you turn the valve off, a little bit of water dribbles down and kind of self-cleans them. But just like when you clean your toilet, you just open the gate there, the protective plastic, and you clean them real quick, and then it's done. So it's pretty straightforward. So what's the verdict? Well, we spend thousands on solar and suspension upgrades, accessories for the truck, right? But let me tell you that upgrading the Throne yields the absolute highest daily return on investment. It's clean, it's stealthy, and it works flawlessly. So if you're ready to pull the trigger on the best seat in the house, I've linked the Brondell SS-250 along with all the PEX tools, the specific shutoff valve that I used. All that's down in the description below. Using those links helps support the channel so that I can remain completely independent from the Campground bathhouse. But seriously, guys, if you have any questions about this mod, drop me a comment down below and I'd be glad to answer it. I've got a whole bunch more mods planned for my Brinkley here, so make sure you're subscribed. And as always, thanks for watching.